The essence of the theoretical basis of Vipassana meditation is like this: observe, but with equanimity. Observe with equanimity. This will lead to transformation. And the end of the transformation is nirvana. End of the transformation is nirvana. We said in this equation, instead of observing body, observe mind. That is the correction which we suggested. Now, we are examining this particular relationship. Transformation leading to nirvana. I sincerely doubt the transformation that is proposed under Vipassana and transformation that takes place within the framework of Vipassana will ever lead to nirvana. Goenka thinks the more you practice following the right technique, one day, this life or after some lives, you will make it to nirvana. Probably many have that idea that if they struggle hard, they will. But if the technique is wrong, they will not. Here, I think, there is nothing that leads us to nirvana. Not only Vipassana meditation, many systems of meditation make certain very serious flaws in assuming transformation continued over a period of time leads to nirvana. It is not. I would say transformation helps, but there is a significant break. To be crossed to reach nirvana. Nirvana is not a accumulation of transformation. There is a break. And how you negotiate this break, I call this break or a discontinuity. So how you negotiate this break and how you negotiate this discontinuity is very important. More importantly, we should be aware of this discontinuity. And Vipassana meditation doesn't have any clue whatsoever to this discontinuity. And I would say, if something has to be called insight, overcoming this discontinuity, overcoming this break should be called insight, and not what happens before this discontinuity, because this is the most important thing in nirvana. So, if this overcoming the break or discontinuity is insight, I dare say there is no insight in so-called insight meditation. No Vipassana in Vipassana meditation, or Vipassana is only in its name. So now come to the topic of what precisely is the discontinuity. To explain this discontinuity, I want to raise two issues. One, I would say, ego ornamentation. See, when a person is becoming better or more silent or more controlled mind, more control over mind, more kind, less angry, more helpful, definitely these things, if a person is becoming more helpful, more silent in mind, more control over mind, more kind, less angry, you can say that a person is becoming better. And surely those who practice Vipassana meditation want to be this, and they will be happy if they have this. And they may even say they are consciously trying to be like this through Vipassana meditation. They are not wrong. But the point here is, if you look in terms of ego is getting what it thinks are higher attributes, higher characteristics. When ego gets all these things, ego may think, yes, I have all of them. So these so-called positive things, so-called good things are like ornaments to ego, which means ego is enhanced. So how do you handle this? If you ask me, between a gangster and a social worker, let me explain what these people are. Gangster is the person who is threatening people and collecting money and making a livelihood of it. Definitely is an anti-social, and people say he is bad. A social worker participating in a midday meal scheme and daily giving food to 10,000 school children. Great man. It's a bad man. So we may assume from this theory, from Vipassana theory, social worker is more likely to make it to nirvana. But I don't think that is the case. Assuming we know nothing else about gangster or social worker, gangster may have a more clarity of himself, the nature of his work. Whereas a social worker may have a very high amount of ego that he is doing great things. So social worker who is good, useful and maybe calm also is not any closer to nirvana compared to a gangster. So the point is, transformation or more and more of it doesn't lead to nirvana, because nirvana has something to do with ego. Nirvana is something to do with ego, desire, structure. Whatever you do become attributes to ego, ornaments to ego, and it is not being closer to egolessness. And Vipassana meditation doesn't address this issue at all. Of course, Goenka knows that if you are proud of yourself, if you are arrogant, that is not closer to nirvana. But it is something more than that. that is to say, there is a theoretical discontinuity between becoming better, calmer, cooler, more controlled, and nirvana. There is a discontinuity that one has to recognize, and that discontinuity is not recognized in this kind of meditation. That is one. Next issue, an issue that Krishnamurti focuses very frequently is about who is meditating. Who is meditating? In fact, this who is not only to Krishnamurti but also to Ramana Maharshi, who is central issue in enlightenment related issues. So for example, normal process of reasoning is like this. You are there and you see you are angry. Then you think, okay, it is your anger. So you see anger in you, and you want this anger in you to disappear and become calm. So you assume you are there, you are handling anger in you. You want to transform anger in you to non-anger, being calm. Violence into non-violence or whatever. There is something that you don't like and you want that to be transformed to something else. This is the most common movement in every seeker, almost every seeker. It is very difficult to understand what may be wrong in that. That's very, very unusual, very, very difficult. But I would say this is central to nirvana. Issue is like this. When you want to overcome your anger, essentially, anger is a response to some desire hurt, desire or image hurt. And what you are is again another image, another desire. In fact, desire to be calm is fighting with desire that got hurt. For example, why are you angry? Somebody said you are dumb, whereas you think you are intelligent. So, desire for intelligence is hurt by desire for calmness. In normal processing, we don't see these two as two desires. We identify ourselves with one desire and we dissociate ourselves with another desire. So, we equate ourselves with a higher motive. I am generally calm, I want to be calm, and that is you. You are angry is not you. It is something lower. It is not you. So, here one fragment is fighting with another fragment. One fragment is saying you, though another fragment is also you. So basically, we are splitting ourselves into desirable and undesirable, and desirable is equated with oneself and it wants to handle the undesirable. This is conflict. This is a serious issue, which means you are not actually moving away from you, because It is a fight between two fragments. You are associating yourself with one fragment. So Krishnamurti says, observer is the observed. So you should understand and the division should end. Ramana Maharshi would say, okay, who is becoming calmer? Who is angry? So that Ramana Maharshi wants us to think that the one who doesn't want to be angry is also an ego and move away from it. And these are remarkable, extraordinary, counterintuitive things. This is not like being more calm, less angry, better person. No, no, no. It is not that we are against the transformation. It is that nirvana or moksha is not accumulation of transformation. In fact, Krishnamurti doesn't call it transformation. He simply calls it reform. He says reform is different from transformation. So, there are different processes. All that you do here is about you. But there is a break which is non-you. And how you move from you to non-you is the most serious issue. And there doesn't seem to be any clear method. And Vipassana not only doesn't give the method, it doesn't even recognize the problem. I don't know what Buddha said long ago about this issue, but we know what Krishnamurti said, what Ramana Maharshi said, and what modern enlightened people have said and how they overcame this particular problem. So, nirvana is not about becoming a better person. We should be better people, there is no doubt. In fact, most people want to be better people through the practice of Vipassana meditation. There is nothing wrong in that at all. Let there be more social workers and not gangsters. That will create a better society. But that has nothing to do with this. So, it is a very challenging thing, and you can't simply assume that by having more and more practice, you will one day make it to nirvana. That is a wrong approach.